Hi, I'm Dr. Park, and today I want to share with you how we taught our kids one of the most important facts of life, which is how to manage their money. At first, my wife was against this because she thought they were a little too young. But I convinced her by telling her that I'd rather have them learn about the money from me than in the real society. So since they were very young, I was telling them about how much I made and how much we spent and how much we invested and how much we saved and where we invested and what were the losses and profits. And I also share with them what were my personal experiences about the money and what were the lessons that I learned from it. I also share some of my aha moments about the money with my kids. First thing is that when I was very young, my dad came to me and he wanted to have a talk with me. And he told me, if you hit a $10 bill and if you give it to your friend, he will like you, he will respect you, and he will love you. But if you try to convince your friend to give you $10, that becomes very difficult. And more you try, more difficult it gets. And there's a very good chance you will actually lose a friend. And he told me spending money is something like that. It's really easy to give it away, but if you're trying to earn it, it becomes very difficult. And for some reason, that little talk that my dad had with me kind of stayed with me throughout the years. Second story is that when I was senior in high school, I wanted to buy something that cost a little bit over $300. So I decided to get a summer job. And I was working throughout the whole summer at this giant big liquor store, stacking cases of beers and other stuff in the giant refrigerator and also in the back storage. And one day after work, I was really hungry. So I stopped by to grab a double Whopper meal set. And I realized that single meal set would cost me 1.5 hours of hard labor. So I decided not to have it and came home and had a dinner at home. That's when I realized that I would never want to work for minimum wage again. And I never did. The story is that when I went to college in California, I had some good friends who went to Las Vegas every year. And they would go for about 5 days and spend about $5,000 to $6,000, which is everything that they had. And they come home broke. And they will try to work at any kind of job for 6 months to just recover from that loss. But they used to tell me that how awesome it was in Las Vegas and how beautiful it was, and how I should really try it. But when I saw that, I thought it was kind of stupid that they would spend 6 months of part-time wages just for a 5-day spray in Las Vegas. So I never went to Las Vegas when I was in college. Even as an adult, when I went to Las Vegas for medical conventions, I never set a foot in any kind of casino. We had a house rule where they had to earn their own spending money by doing house chores, such as they were getting like 10 cents for folding each laundry and 50 cents for shining our shoes. But their real money came from school, where they're getting $1 per each perfect score tests and quizzes. So they kind of look forward to having tests and quizzes at school. And they're probably getting between 3 to 5 tests or quizzes per week. And in junior high school, they were getting $50 per perfect report cards or A's, and $100 in high school for perfect report cards. Needless to say, they rarely missed perfect or A report cards. And by doing this, they naturally learned earning money through hard labor was more difficult. So they invested more time in school. And also, when they bought us presents for Christmas and Father's Days and Mother's Days, it really came from their hard-earned money. So it really meant a lot to us. And we really let them know that how much we appreciated it. I still have the notebook where I record all the money that my kids made and all the money that they spent throughout the years. And what's funny is that after they went to college, they're not really mentioning about the balance they still have left over in this notebook, because Joseph has over $950 left and Rachel has over $1,200 left in her account. So I don't know if they're saving it for the rainy days, but they have not mentioned about it. And I'm just kind of waiting for them to mention it. And when they need it, I have no problem giving their money back to them. Even when we ate out, unless it was a special occasion, I'll put a limit on how much each person can order. For example, like $10 per person. And if they wanted to order something that cost more than $10, they had to pay the difference. And I think Rachel tried it once and she never did it again, saying that it wasn't worth that extra dollar that she spent. And I was really trying to teach my kids that how to spend their money wisely. I remember once when Rachel came to me with tears in her eyes saying it wasn't fair that her friends were getting weekly allowance and also getting free new games from their parents. And she was saying the new games were just too costly for her to buy them. And watching her cry, my wife's heart was broken, and so was mine. And trust me, I really wanted to give them the best of everything so their friends would envy them, but I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. So, yep, so later I told my wife I'd rather have my kids come crying to me about money than have them crying in the society where nobody really cares about them. And I also told Rachel, if the games are very expensive, you really need to look into trading in your old games for used games that somebody else's used games. And so she did a little research and she found some place where they were actually do trading in for the games. And she was getting the games for the fraction of the price of the new ones. And after a little while, my kids were very happy with the games that they were getting, and they were okay with the whole situation. When they went out to see movies with their friends, they mostly ate at home and then met their friends at the theater to save some money. And we are very happy about this. Not just the fact that they are learning to spend their money wisely, but also knowing that they are eating healthy. One day my kids came to me saying that they wanted a dog. So I told them, if you guys want a dog, you have to pay for it, you have to walk it, and you have to feed it. So you need to really think about what you want and then let me know. And after a few days, they came back and said they still wanted a dog and they're willing to pay for it. So I told them then, have you decided which dog that you guys wanted? And Rachel said, we want an Airedale Terrier. And she said it was like a king of the terrier. So after a little while, Rachel did some research and she told me that they're very expensive, and the lowest price that they could find one nearby pet shop was about $800. So I told Rachel, you really need to look into a Airedale breeder or a farm. And after a few days, Rachel came back and said she found one farm in Pennsylvania where they breed only Airedale Terrier, and they come with the papers and the first immunization shot. And their asking price was $500. And I thought that was pretty reasonable, but Rachel asked me, Dad, can you call them and negotiate the price? And I really wanted my kids to kind of see how to negotiate the price. So I actually called the gentleman in front of them. And I told them that my kids were paying for the dogs themselves, and we have to drive about 2 hours to get to their farm. And the price seems to be a little bit high for my kids, so they're kind of thinking what to do about it. And I asked him, can you do something for us? And he said the best he could do for was $450. And I thought that was fair, and my kids were very happy that they were able to save $50 just with a single phone call. So next day we drove down to Pennsylvania, and there was like 5 or 6 puppies, and they're beautiful. And my kids picked the one that they liked. And so I asked the gentleman how many immunization shots this puppy needs, and he told me she needs 3 altogether, and she already had the first one. So I told him, since I'm a medical doctor, can I buy the immunization shots from you and inject them myself, and just let me know which days that I have to inject them? And he had no problem with that. So I paid him $10 per shot, so I paid him $20. And by doing that, my kids actually saved about $150 to $160 because at the pet shop it was costing between $80 to $90 per shot. So they were very happy. Through this process in their everyday life, they learn how to earn the money, how to spend the money, and how to avoid impulsive spendings. To encourage my kids, I'll tell about how they earn their money and how they spend their money to all my families and my friends. And everywhere they went, they were being encouraged by different people. At one time, actually, somebody from my church heard about it, and they came to us and they wanted to write a paper about how our kids were earning their own money and how they were spending it. And so they actually published a story about them with a picture on our church paper, and they were very encouraged by this. When Rachel first went to high school, I asked my kids, why do you go to school? And they told me because we have to. And I told them actually going to school is not part of just growing up. It's going to be your biggest investment of your lives. Just think about all those hours that you're putting in from elementary to college. And if you convert that all that hours into wage plus college tuitions that you're putting in, you're looking about $1 million investment, and that is going to be your biggest investments of your life. And I told them, just like every other investment, if you lose on this biggest investment of your life, it will be a big shame. And the fact that I don't mind paying for your educations, and while you're still in college and school, you really need to spend my money wisely, because after school, you have to be on your own. And now we are very proud of our kids on how they manage their money. And even in colleges, they actually earn their own living expenses by working as a RA, TA, or getting summer job or part-time job. And sometimes they would even buy us decent dinners. I figure for my kids to take their lives seriously, they really need to learn how to appreciate the money and how to spend the money. Because I've seen many people who never learn how to spend it or appreciate the money, and money becomes part of their insecurity and also the misery. And I told my kids, if you guys know how to manage it and if you know how to spend it, money can give you part of happiness and also security.